Hey, what's going on, guys? It is FoxyDude98 here, and welcome back to a brand new episode of my F1 2018 career mode here with Renault at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Now, kicking things off straight in qualifying, mainly because I actually lost the recording for the very first little section where I'd go through everything in the development front. So I've gone ahead and just started it from qualifying, but hopefully we can get a good result here today. Of course, we are looking to counter-attack here at Azerbaijan, with this basically being a power circuit. Our Renault car has got very, very good straight line speed. However, the chassis and the aero departments are still lacking, so hopefully that doesn't quite pay into too much dividends later down the line. But as you can see, we're going straight out and we're setting our lap. In towards the first qualifying session, then Lewis Hamilton is currently fastest with the 1 minute 37.1, which is an absolutely amazing lap time to start with. And as you can see, we're breezing now down here towards the first corner. We have also changed the internal combustion engine for this race because my other ICE was already on 50% or something like that, past that point, which was just shocking to think of. But in Q1, it was a rubbish lap, and we deservedly got knocked out in Q1. We were dreadful around here. And I think my biggest problem was trying to get the right setup, especially for the braking points. I could never, on that lap as well, I never got the braking point spot on. I mean, Hamilton set a 37.1, everyone else did the 38s or the 39s. But for me, I was doing so hard to just get it right, and I got it all wrong. I was never getting a braking zone spot on in qualifying. I was either braking too early, which I did a few times on my lap, and that cost me horribly, or I was braking too late, which then meant that I gained time going into the corner, but then of course I overcooked it and I messed it up. So with that in mind, I realised, especially the internal combustion engine, that is taking an absolute battering at the moment. So in terms of upgrades, I'm probably going to have to do a couple of durability upgrades on the ICE, just because we're into round 4 and I was in practice and my ICE was on 58%, which is crazy to think that after just 3 races, and yeah, practice and qualifying included, that it's already on 58%, yet all my other parts are on about 22-25% worn, around about that mark, so it's doubling. So I'm going to still press on with making the car as fast as possible. I don't really care about reliability as such. Main reason for that is because, well, you know, we're just trying to get to the top, and when we're at the top, we can then make our car reliable to be consistently at the top. But as you would have seen as well, I went ahead and decided, considering I'm starting in P16, might as well just start from the back, get a fresh power unit in, get a fresh gearbox as well, because that was wearing down. So yeah, we're just going to do our best with what we've got, and we're going to drop the fuel load a bit for the Grand Prix ahead. But we're starting from last place, 65 place grid penalty for component changes, but that's what we're going to be doing. 5 red lights here, and it is lights out. We go here to start the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It's been a decent start from us. From the back, it's Bottas that leads the way at the front, as we're now going to go down the inside of a couple of cars here. I think we've got both Williams cars, both McLaren cars. One of the Sauber cars got compromised there in the background, and now we're trying to have another attack here as we go down the inside. Try to have a look at Magnussen and also my teammate Hulkenberg, but I decided the best of it. But straight away, all cars compromising each other, and now it's a drag race here between myself and Nico Hulkenberg. We've got one of the Haas cars in front. I believe that's Roman Grosjean that's also in the way, but we're going to go down the inside here. Double overtake on my teammate and also on Roman Grosjean, and that's P11 already in the Grand Prix. So that's what happens when the AIs constantly brake and go really slowly when they're compact together. And that gave us a perfect opportunity to breeze on through. Onto the second lap of the Grand Prix, we're onto the back of Kevin Magnussen now for P10. That'll get us into the points, and of course we're doing the one stop here today, so hopefully we can try and gain a lot of places from doing that strategy. And we have a look down the inside of Magnussen. Not quite, no, we're not going to go for it on Kevin Magnussen there, but we have got a fabulous run to go and make a surprise move down the inside, clip the curb there, and I was confident to make that move because I adjusted my setup to really counter the curbs around Baku, because of course these curbs are extremely deadly, and they will really cost you if you're not careful. So yeah, you can see here I can just attack the curbs a little bit more, but not too much obviously, but I did alright through there. Onto the third lap of the Grand Prix, we've got Charles Leclerc, who on the previous lap got overtaken by Esteban Ocon, but he's managed to stay with Ocon, and now he's going to get past the Force India driver. However, with the second best power unit on the grid, I'm just going to do nothing. I'm just going to hold right trigger and just follow in the slipstream of Ocon. That's you out the way, follow on the slipstream of Charles Leclerc, 222 miles an hour down the straight, double overtake, and that is completely perfect. P8 already. And this is where I was feeling confident. And of course, yes, we've got a fresh power unit in the car, but I kind of expect a lot of the other teams to go ahead and get a fresh power unit as well. just because this is a really high-speed circuit. On to lap 11 of the Grand Prix now. This is all the way to the end of my stint. I didn't really have anyone else attacking me, to be honest, or I wasn't attacking anyone up front because everyone pitted early off the ultra soft tyres because we get a nice back-end sway there on my tyres. That was a bit of a hairy moment, but eventually here you can see Valtteri Bottas has already pitted and he's on the soft tyres. I believe he's going to go to the end on those unless he decides otherwise, but I'm not. Obviously, I need to make a pit stop in this race. I haven't made one yet, so we're going to do just that now. We're coming into the pits for our first and only stop at the Grand Prix. We're going on to the set of the soft tyres and we're going to go to the end of the race. And from there, we're just going to see how we can get on, try and gain as many places as possible. Already, we're probably pretty much going to get some points unless things go horribly wrong for us. And as we come out of the pits, it's P8 at the moment, converts that to P7 as we just about are going to squeeze in front of Brendan Hartley in the Toro Rosso here, who sort of gets in front and then we manage to pull back in front of the Toro Rosso driver there. For that is us up into P7 now for this Grand Prix. And then on to the end of lap 13 now, we've managed to catch up to Sergio Perez. Took a little bit of time for the tyres to get into good working range. We've also got the Ferrari Sebastian Vettel behind us on the super soft tyres. We need to be careful of him on the softer tyres and in the Ferrari as well. That's not going to be comfortable for us. However, in terms of our attack of Sergio Perez, again, I'm just going to follow in the slipstream and just hold right trigger and probably go on my phone and probably order some stuff off Amazon. And in the meantime, whilst I'm doing that, my Amazon delivery has just arrived. And now all of a sudden I can brake for turn 1. So that's pretty much how it goes through there. And that's 6th place for us now. We're in front of Perez. Next at the road is Verstappen. On to lap 19 of the Grand Prix now. And again, still pushing onwards. We're up into P4, but now the two stoppers who are at the front are now catching up to myself. So we've got Lewis Hamilton on a fresh set of super soft tyres. And for this battle, I'm not going to fight Hamilton for this one. At the moment, my rear tyres are starting to struggle just a little bit, and I kind of want to be a bit cautious with my attacks. So, as you can see here, Hamilton moves over past me and is on the straight. And I just decided to follow in the slipstream. I'm not going to fight Hamilton. Obviously, in the Chinese Grand Prix last time around, I fought heavily with Kimi Raikkonen, but that's because I had really, really strong pace. Whereas in here, I didn't have as much pace. But overall, I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't losing time behind because my rear tyres were really struggling. And as you can see here, Raikkonen gets past with DRS. Again, I'm not going to fight him. I'm just going to let him through. Again, like Sergio Perez is about 6.5 seconds back. If I fight too much, that could cost us at least 2 seconds a lap. And then if my tyres really do go off at the end of the race, then I'm screwed and I could get overtaken by Perez. At the end of the race, though, Valtteri Bottas goes ahead and wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Raikkonen's already pulled 7.5 seconds on myself from when he overtook me on like lap 21. So that just shows the pace of the Ferrari and also the cautious approach that I was taking. In terms of my gap with Sergio Perez, because I let the others through, I was able to manage my car a lot more efficiently. And you can see I've got Hülkenberg behind me, who for the I don't know how many races in a row now, for the 3rd race in a row, as we come across the line from starting P20 to finish all the way up in P6 is an amazing result. Weirdly though, it's actually my worst result of the season, which feels weird to say. But still, for the 3rd race in a row, Nico Hülkenberg yet again has another issue, and he finishes down in last place. But overall, there wasn't a lot of action in this race, honestly. Baku last year was absolutely hectic, was crazy. But this time around, it really didn't do much. I got a lot of my overtakes done at the start of the race, and the ultra-soft runners pitted really early. They probably had some battles here and there. I just kept myself out of trouble. It was one of those races, that's the perfect explanation. In China, where we were right in the thick of it from start to finish, whereas here, we just kept out of trouble and we just did our own race, and it worked perfectly for us. And when it came to the likes of Hamilton and Raikkonen coming up to the back of me, I just wasn't going to fight them because I knew I could fight them easily. I could come back at them down the inside and defend on all the straights, but I didn't want to compromise my attack with my fight with Perez. He was the man that I was hunting for, and he was on fresher tyres because Perez did the 2-stop, I believe, behind me. No, he did the 1-stop. Okay, so Perez was actually on older tyres than myself. I didn't realise that whilst I was racing. So overall, you can see, Hülkenberg did 3 stops, for God's sake, so you can show that he's having problems. But a lot of the teams actually did the 1-stop, so in some respects, I was actually caught out slightly by that, because I was racing in a manner which meant that as soon as everyone did the 2-stop, I'd be comfortable then on my special 1-stop strategy. That wasn't the case, but in the Drivers' Championship, we actually move in front of Sebastian Vettel up to 4th in the Championship, which is quite surprising, but Vettel did poor. And in the Constructors' Championship, we still are in P4 on 42 points, but again, I've got 40 points so far this season. Hulkenberg just has 2, so we really need to work on reliability, and it seems to just be the fact that he constantly gets punctures. That's what it is, because then he has to make another stop. So if he can just stop getting punctures, that'd be amazing. But in the interviews then, I wanted to do as much as I could to support the power unit side of things, because in this race, I just made sure that I had a very quick car out there, and yeah, I was very, very confident with what I was doing, and you can see here again talking about Kimi Raikkonen, but overall the power unit has taken such a big increase that I just wanted to give that as much praise as possible. But definitely in the future now, we need to work on the chassis and aero, which is our main priority, like I've said before. Also then with the powertrain, if any cars start overtaking us, we'll just pop in an upgrade to get ourselves back in front and hope them just not slag behind on that one. Once we've then got the fastest car on the grid, I'm then going to work heavily on durability, especially on the internal combustion engine. In fact, I might have to do some internal combustion engine changes throughout this season in terms of reliability, because the fact that it does 3 races, by the end of this race, I believe it already got to about nearly 20% worn, and that's just one race. So I'm going to have to do a lot of work on that front, but we've got some negotiations to go through in the contract. I've also got 1,229 resource points, and I'm going to be looking to spend those. So having a look then at the negotiation, you can see here that as soon as my initial negotiation comes through from Emma, you can see where my proposed value drops down to. So once again, in terms of development, I'd like to get level 2 on this development, make sure I get 3 upgrades per department. I want to make sure that I get as many points as possible per race. Unfortunately though, I wasn't able to get level 3 on the upgrade speed, so I'll just drop that to minor and major, because I'm not really going to be doing many ultimate upgrades at the moment. But eventually come later down the line I will be, but for now that's not my priority. It's just about getting as much as I can on the car as possible. And then moving on to the upgrade section itself, I am going to be making, I think, 2 or 3 upgrades for the Spanish Grand Prix. Big changes for Spain. First of all then, we had a tyre wear upgrade which failed for this Grand Prix. So I went ahead and spent 200 resource points to get that back into working order. And then I had a look at what potential upgrades I could do. So I could do some stuff to the brake calipers and sort that out. But I first of all went ahead and did some work on the repositioning with the fuel there. So that was another upgrade to the chassis. Had a look at the aero, couldn't really do anything. Powertrain, again, were just slagging behind Ferrari. So I decided to go ahead and actually do those brake calipers as well. So we've got the one upgrade which is guaranteed because that was a failed upgrade. Then we've got 2 other chassis departments coming in. So that's going to help us out. But I hope you enjoyed. Take care. Peace.